are back with another video, and today I have two new friends with me. So we have Spade here. She is the darker one. This is a DUMERIL'S boa. They're from Madagascar. And then the lighter colored snake here is a ball python. Her name is Cindy, and she is from Africa. So the reason why we have these two guys with us today, just move Spade back, is because we kind of want to focus on constrictors in this video. So I have a boa and then I have a python, both of which are constrictors. So it'll be really cool to compare the two of them, because I think a lot of people, when they see like a random snake in the wild, they confuse python and a boa if we're talking non-venomous snakes. If we're venomous snakes, is a whole nother category. So these two guys are non-venomous. It's important to point that out. First, I guess we'll focus on boas.
Since he's the most mobile.
Yeah, so boas actually have a larger geographical range than pythons. I actually do not, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure there are no pythons that are actually native to United States. If there are pythons here, they've been released because of the pet trade. If you think about the Burmese pythons in the Everglades, that is a good example of people just not handling their pets properly, letting them get out into the wild, and then them becoming invasive and taking over. So other than the Burmese pythons and any other pets that were accidentally released, there are no native pythons to the United States. So boas have a larger range. So these guys you will definitely find native to the United States. This DUMERIL'S boa, like I said, is from Madagascar, so not this one in particular. Also, boas generally give live birth. There are some exceptions out there in the animal kingdom, but most of them are going to give live birth.
Super odd for reptiles.
Yes. They don't take care of the young though. So once the babies are born, they are on their own from the point of birth. So if we're comparing that to when we talked about alligators, alligators will take care of their young at least for that first year or so. But when it comes to snakes, they're on their own from the jump. There also isn't a lot of snakes that are going to be communal. I believe there are some venomous snakes out there that will kind of stay together. I think it's a rattlesnake species. But other than that, mostly snakes are solitary species. So you'll notice the holes around her mouth. Can you see those? So those are not, those are called pit organs. Those are not nostrils. The nostrils are sitting at the top of the head. There's two nostrils, obviously, but the holes around the mouth, those are actually the pit organs. And that's actually how they sense heat. So snakes with the heat sensing pits, they can actually see like normal, but they can also see heat. So both of their senses are kind of combined. So they can tell how much heat is radiating off of you by looking at you. So also with your pythons, different than your boas, so they're going to lay eggs. As we already talked about, your boas are going to give live birth. And as far as like who has the larger of the snakes, did you know an anaconda was a boa?
Oh, no, I did not. That is fascinating.
Right?
No, I didn't know that.
Fact. So anacondas are actually boas. So anacondas are one of the more heavier bodied snakes. But as far as length, the python group has the larger length of snakes, such as the Burmese and the reticulated python.
Is it significant? Is it like enormously larger, or?
Yeah, yeah, because is it reticulated? I want to say it's reticulated. It can get 20 feet long. One of the things that we also told you that these guys have in common is the fact that they're constrictors. So that means that they're going to ambush their prey in some way, and to subdue them, they're going to use strangulation techniques. So both of these guys have great strength, grip strength, if you think about it. And then they're going to swallow their prey whole like just any other snake does. And we've talked about the snake mouth a little bit. But basically, a snake can open its mouth way larger than like his head. So the reason why, if you think about our jaws, our jaws, they're kind of like, the lips are kind of small, right? But a snake's jaw line goes all the way back to his eyes. So that allows them to open their mouth a lot wider. Also, they don't have as many bones in their jaw as we do. They just, it's kind of like cartilage. They have a lot more flexibility, and that's what allows them to swallow such large prey. They do salivate, so they can use their saliva to help ease it down towards the back of their throat. And also they have kind of like a very flexible bottom jaw. So the only thing that's, so at this point where our chin is just cartilage there for snakes. So that gives their bottom jaw a lot of flexibility, and they can actually move independently, which also helps to move prey down the throat. These are non-venomous snakes, so they're not gonna have fangs only venomous snakes have fangs. So if you see the scary movie where a snake has bitten somebody and it's just 2 holes, that indicates it's a venomous snake. Because regular snakes do in fact have 2 rows of teeth in their upper jaw. But so they move their tongue a lot because that's how they're smelling. So we've talked about the Jacobson organ. It's an organ in the roof of their mouth. So when they're flicking their tongue and they're putting it back in their mouth, they're putting it inside the Jacobson organ. And so they have nostrils, but by using their tongue, they're able to get a better sense of direction when it comes to smell. So they're doing that. They can sense the heat, and then that's how they're able to attack their prey and then constrict them at that point.
Now, you said that the boa that we have here is a ground boa. Is that correct? Not arboreal, like he's not gonna drop out of the tree, but some of them do.
Correct. Okay, so there is a difference between a ground dwelling species and an arboreal species. So typically to describe something that's ground dwelling, you might use the word terrestrial, and then something that's gonna live higher up is gonna be called arboreal, and then we have what's considered semi-arboreal, where you're kind of in the ground, but you also might be, you know, a little bit higher in a tree. So that the reason for that is because essentially that allows different species to occupy different niches, if you think about it. So you have some that are going to be close to the ground, some that are going to be a little bit off the ground, and this one going to be really high off the ground in niches. So this is a ground dwelling species, meaning she's not going to be prone to climb. But also, if you're looking at her camouflage, she's going to blend right in with that leaf litter that's on the ground, especially in her native habitat, Madagascar. So she's going to blend right in. She's going to be able to attack prey, and they're never going to see it come. The ball python, I believe, is more of a semi-arboreal. She does a lot of climbing in her enclosure, and she's likely to climb. I think typically your more really heavy-bodied snakes are not going to be very arboreal.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So this is a ball python that you're holding. The reason why they call them ball pythons is because generally when they're first born, and even when they're startled or something like that, they have a tendency to roll up into a ball.
Yeah, just like the position she's
kind of been. Yeah, it's been a while since she's done a real ball, since I've gotten her. And
they will roll up into a distinct ball. Like...
Yeah, like it'll be kind of tight, and the only thing they'll be picking out is their head.
Wow. Or
they can actually put their head in the ball as well. So she's just getting all the smells off of you.
She is beautiful. Any
observations on how she feels, how heavy she is, and things like that?
Well, obviously, there's some girth. There's some weight to this
she's
snake.
Thick.
Yeah, she's thick. And the muscles, when she relaxes, it feels almost kind of fatty. But if she starts to move, she's got some strength. Like you could see that there could be some real tension there.
Yeah, and she's only around, I got her in 2017, so she's only around 3 years old. She is a female, but she's a female ball python. Ball pythons don't typically get too much bigger than 6 feet when it comes to females. So she probably got a little bit more growing to do, but not too much lengthwise.
So she could get as long as I am tall.
Yes.
I'm 6'6".
Yes, but the boa is more likely to get to your height than she is.
Wow. Very chill snake, which I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
And smooth. You would see all these scales and think that this would be more bumpy, more rough.
Yeah.
But she's not. She moves so smoothly through your hands.
Yeah, she does have smooth scales. Alright, so now Mr. Dodge is holding the DUMERIL'S boa from Madagascar. This is Spade. She's about the same age as the ball python, so they're both around 3 years old. But the DUMERIL'S boa is going to get a lot bigger. They can get past 6 feet for sure, and the girth is probably going to be, she can get as girthy as your arm, so she can be huge. Yeah.
Oh, she's so much stronger.
Yeah, you can feel it, right?
Oh, the muscles are so crazy strong. You can
kind of wrap around your arm a little bit.
Yeah. It's not just, she's not just laying gently across my hands. She has power. You can feel
that. She likes to make sure she's secure. So she's going to grip you to make sure you're not going to drop her and she's not going to fall.
Is that it, Mr. Dodge?
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
That is just, it's still very smooth though. And the only time it doesn't feel smooth is when she flexes those underbelly scales, and you can feel those move.
Yeah.
When she's gripping with those. item that this one would particularly go after in the wild?
Oh, I would imagine rodents. I mean, I think a lot of snakes are opportunistic, honestly. So if they could get a bird,
like a gator, very
I would imagine,
it comes their way, really.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the native rodents or anything in Madagascar, so I'm not particularly sure.
But rodents.
Yeah. So you got the back. There we go. And now you want to. You're worried about the head?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Actually, all she does is flick her tongue, and it tickles. Wow, I'm impressed with my son who has dared to hold the python.
See, she's not bad.
Look at the ball python wrapping up in a ball again.
She's not likely to bite you at all. I mean, I've had her for 3 years. She stuck at me that one time, but other than that.
Not likely, but it could happen.
Anything with a mouth can bite. I gotta tell people that because I don't want to sell them a dream. But she doesn't look like she's a fan of that.
See you later.